Don't throw those bottles away. Turn them into money today. Vitamalt bottles equal cash in your pocket. It's super easy. Just take those empty Vitamalt bottles to any Cara Brewery distribution truck or any drinks depot in St. Kitts and Nevis. We're keeping our beautiful Twin Island paradise clean. Vitamalt bottles equal cash back. Keep it clean, keep it green. Vitamalt bottle returns. Your bottles, your cash, your island.
Come, build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers. We don't just sell materials, we help you build your dreams. Whether it's a new home, a renovation, or a DIY project, we're here to make it happen. That's why we say, build with us. From foundation to finish, come to our stores where we have the best in building materials, hardware, tools, paints, expert advice, and more. Whatever you need, you can count on us. So if you're ready to get started, build with us. With Hostels Building and Nevis Centers, you're not just building a structure, you're building a future. Let us help you create something amazing. Dream with us, plan with us, grow with us, build with us. Come build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers today. Build with us at Hostels.
Good morning, and how are we all doing this morning? It is the 21st day of October 2025, just about 1 minute after the hour of 8. Welcome to today's edition of Island Tea to the regional and international diaspora. Good morning to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Good morning. If you are listening to us on your radio, we are 98.9 on your FM dial. We are also being simulcast on TVC Channel 40, Facebook, as well as YouTube. Just to remind you of our numbers, if you wish to join in on the conversation or bring something to the fore, our local number is 466-0989 in the U.S., 1-305-921-4619, as well as 1-718-285-6984. In the UK, you can reach us at 0333-440065. Just to remind you, today at 8:30 a.m., since it's Tuesday, it is Weekly Dose, and today's topic is breast cancer awareness, a patient's viewpoint. So we ask that you stay tuned or tell a friend to come on in at 8:30 as we continue to discuss breast cancer. We know that's one of the biggest awareness campaign in the month of October. We may have a mom, a friend, a cousin, somebody that would have suffered with it at one point, but it's never too late to keep on learning about the causes and the treatment that can save your life. Today is also International Day of the Nacho, a day to celebrate nachos by making your own with your favorite ingredients and dips. Do you like those?
I can't remember if I've eaten nachos.
So you never eaten Doritos?
It's a kind of wrap, right?
Yeah,
With stuff,
that
right?
and the chips. Have you ever eaten Doritos?
I can't recall.
Oh
really.
boy, no man. I put it. That's something else. We need to get Quint some Doritos. Put that on the bucket list as well. So Quint, how are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Trying to be better than yesterday. I don't know how much of the news you keep up with, but you know there was a fire on the Strip last night.
No, I did not.
So Zanzi's and apparently Cathy's, their bars have been burnt to the ground. And I was also told of some part of Vibes, not Vibes completely. So I extend empathy to all the owners. Yeah.
Here's hoping they can recoup and recover quickly, because that's going to be a big blow to, especially, local indigenous businesses.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing here, there's a post from Cathy. It says, Facebook, good morning. My name is Catherine Williams. I'm the owner of Cathy's Ocean View Beach Bar and Grill. I have been on the Strip for the past 25 years and located next to the Zanzi Beach Bar. I was awakened by the call this morning at about 12:50 a.m. Wow. Either the sad news that that Zanzi's bar was on fire and that I should go and secure my building. On my way to the strip, I saw a blaze of fire, only to learn that Zanzi was on fire. As a result, my complete establishment was demolished by the blaze. A total loss to me. Just to clear the air, the fire started at Zanzi's, and in the process, Kathy's beach bar is completely gone. Wow, she's empty. Wow. Well, it didn't seem like it got too far over to Vibes, but that couldn't
That's the
be
thing
good
about
news.
fires, you know.
Yeah, look.
Yeah, wow.
Wow. The fires don't play.
Say it's a good slave but a bad master.
Bad master, wow.
Yeah.
But
so
it didn't seem like Vibes got much damage, so thank God for that part. So,
I could imagine how the individuals feel, you know, knowing that you're going to have to be virtually starting back from scratch.
from scratch, and this is the season.
Yeah.
And she might have repeat guests that told people, "Oh yeah, we're going to Cathy's to eat," to find out no, Cathy's is now flat, and she has to start all over again. Oh boy. Oh, what a life we lead. So I also saw a news article, and I guess for those listening, you can let me know if it's true or not. It says that from today, apparently the recent speed tickets that we were talking about yesterday, they've been revoked, but the speed cameras are going to be in effect from today.
Okay.
As I told you, I was on Kim Collins yesterday, and if you see the creeping, if you see the, listen, even the tourist was creeping. The tourist had a straight away to go in their rental, and even they were creeping on Kim Collins Highway. You could see they were warned. I was like, wow. And you know, you're on Kim Collins Highway, Quentin, you're accustomed to people going, whoosh,
Yeah.
everybody trying to pass you. Not yesterday. Everybody was literally creeping. Someone, as I told you earlier, someone told me they went to Old Road, and it took them almost 2 hours to do that, something that they do in
All the time.
30 minutes return, you know, 15 to go, 15 to come back. But yesterday that wasn't the case because the queue was long. But that's good to see that everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. It's sad that it took speedometers and in the mail tickets for us to slow down, when we could have slowed it down a long time ago and just live life normally. But we always have to be in something to get some kind of, I would say, punishment in a way, because why we have to creep so slow? I wish you could have seen it. I wish you drove so you could have seen it. I was like, even we were creeping. I'm like, wow, look at this. Just not to get a ticket. So, Quint, you have anything on your mind this morning?
Well, I'm going to play this clip. It's from our own local news.
Okay.
And it is to deal with the recent distribution of lands to individuals in a particular area.
Okay.
The Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Terence Drew, reaffirmed his government's commitment to expanding land ownership among citizens. Between October 16 and 17, 131 citizens received their certificate of title for lands which they had occupied for a long time. The land plots were gifted to them by the government of St. Kitts and Nevis. Speaking at the land regularization handover ceremony at La Grite on October 16, 2025, Prime Minister Drew highlighted the pivotal role the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party movement played in ensuring that land ownership became accessible to ordinary citizens. He said land ownership is one strategy of empowering the people.
It has to be understood that people can truly be empowered when they become land owners. That is why they deprived our people of land ownership. So from the very inception, part of the Labour Party's objective was to take the land from those who colonized us and put it in the hands of those who were the residents, citizens, and the wretched of the earth right here in St. Kitts and Nevis, for the good that we can do. And so as part of our principles as a party was to fight for land ownership. It was not until the 1950s that we were able to vote, because we were denied the right to vote, because they knew if we could vote, we would empower ourselves. And one of the ways we would do it is to empower ourselves through land leadership.
As history records, the 1935 Buckley's Uprising was a clear demonstration of a brave people demanding justice, equality, and equity. After the elections in 1952, His Excellency Sir Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw, the first Premier, made a symbolic move to nationalize the land, then negotiate land cost. Later on, Dr. Denzel Douglas, as Prime Minister and leader of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, introduced an initiative that would further transform the social and economic landscape of the country.
The ruler class was determined that the people of St. Kitts and Nevis would not become landowners, because when you become landowners, you become empowered. And when you become empowered, people can't oppress you. And so his name was dragged through the mud. But he got fed up of negotiating and talking until that day he said, we're going to take the land. And he took it. Sometimes you just got to take it if it belongs to you. And he took it. And then after that, they started to negotiate the price of the land, which was paid for afterwards in the 1980s. But it's these type of actions that he took. And I'm just simply saying that he was guided by the principle of empowerment, the principle of land ownership, the principle for the good that we can do. What does that have to do with us today? So under him, he nationalized the land. He took the land. The land was paid for in the 1980s by the administration there. In the 1995 run-up, the Labour administration under the leadership of Dr. Denzel Douglas had what you call the freehold village land policy. To say that if you lived in a village for a certain amount of time, you would have access to the land. And that was part and parcel of the trajectory of giving our people access to the land that they had occupied, some of them, for hundreds of years. It's only fair. And so Bradshaw did that.
And I played that because when you listen to the PM, the Prime Minister, Dr. Drew, you realize he understands the importance of land ownership. And it is a good thing that he's now giving lands to individuals. But I'm asking myself the question, is there a bit of inconsistency here? You're saying land is important, and those who colonize us did not want us to get land. But what is happening over on Nevis? Why is it that you seem to want to, you and your regime and the Premier over there seems to want to put us back in the conundrum that you just outlined we faced eons ago? Mr. Prime Minister, be consistent. This thing that you're doing presently is a good thing. But let's continue the good thing in terms of land ownership for our own indigenous people. Do not let this thing go into where you're going to bring back the colonizers, empower them with land, and what does that mean? We are not empowered. So just a brief message there.
Then he's going to say, remember, he already pulled himself out, says he has nothing to do with Nevis.
Yeah, but I understand that they're doing town hall meetings trying to still sell this thing with this, zone, space, and that kind of stuff. So I'm asking the question, is there a bit of inconsistency? And we would like you to, we hear the passion in your voice. We would like to know that that passion is genuine. Hello, caller? Okay, lost that caller.
Okay.
Yeah.
Caller, you can call back.
Let me take a bit of a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us. TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
'Tis the season for dreams to come true. There's Santa for the kids and CIBC Caribbean for you. Whether it's a house, land, vehicle, or upgrading your home, CIBC Caribbean can support your dreams with the financing you need. Enjoy incredible cashback deals with mortgages and land loans. Plus, your approved loan gives you a chance to win up to US $5,000. Apply now at www.cibccaribbean.com/sweeten the season. Terms and conditions apply.
And we are back on Island T. Okay, caller, go ahead. You're live on Island T. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Hortensia.
Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
And giving thanks for life yourself. And good morning to you, Quint, behind the scenes.
Good, thanks.
Good morning to you. And how are you today?
I'm giving thanks for another day, Quint.
Yes.
I don't normally call this early, but there's a concerned matter, and it pertains to our heritage. Recently, we heard about the purchase, I think it's some $31 million or thereabout, of the Fort Thomas Hotel down at the Fort Lands area where we call Bluff Point.
Yeah.
And the St. Christopher Trust, which was initiated in 2009, thereabout,
Yeah.
from the St. Kitts and Nevis Heritage Society, which is what was called, named, had a concern, and they had sent out somewhat like a memo. I recall about 6 or 8 years ago, or thereabout, when I had the opportunity to drive staff members of the St. Christopher Trust around to certain of the areas which it's under their domains, as they see, they are the eyes and the ears of everything heritage and our heritage society. Like the Belmont Estate, and there is an estate there in close to Molyneux, Mansion Estate. There is the Hansen home, where one of our Charles Fort in the Sandy Point area. Mm-hmm. And we also drove to an area there by Bloody Point, Stone Fort River, that area there. Those areas I recall vividly. I'm not quite sure how their circumference, but they span a wide. They are the persons, the society that is responsible for our heritage and the preservation of our heritage. I can recall when there were some missing cannons that was salvaged from the bottom of the ocean somewhere up the coast on the coast going up towards Friars Bay, that area there, where they had sound the alarm, and as a result they was able to intercept those monuments, so to speak, somewhere in St. Croix, and they probably was repatriated back to St. Kitts. Long story short, Quint, I saw a somewhat blueprint of the architecture of what gonna be the love, where it's gonna be promoting where persons can come and get married. All of that is all good. But the architecture of that area is more like Middle Eastern, like Islamic, and I am afraid it's a takeaway from our ambience, what can bring about our aesthetics and our ambience.
Yeah.
I have not seen much of the landscaping.
So let me ask you a question. Is it going to be, we heard that it was going to be something about Caribbean history.
Museum?
Yeah, museum and Caribbean history. So what has become of that?
That might still be in the making. But the architecture itself is not Caribbean. And that is where I don't have all the full details, but even the architecture is not appealing. And let's say the investors wants to move away from the old colonist, the colonizers' architecture. Why would you want to move away from that, which is all good, but you want to impose another colonizer architecture?
But you see, the reason I asked that question is this, and I had the feeling that this would be the way it would turn out, because we know how the Indians are in terms of their own culture and that kind of stuff. My thing, if it is, as it has been touted, supposed to be a museum where you can get Caribbean history, shouldn't the structure represent such?
Yes, especially, predominantly, the persons who had suffered from that.
Yeah.
Recently in the U.S., we have heard that the Smithsonian Institute, where Donald Trump took the lady, she is maybe the Attorney General for Virginia now. Halligan, where she actually somewhat championed a cause to somewhat like reconfigured the Smithsonian Museum with its documentation and its archives of history towards what has become to African people in the U.S. and indigenous people in the U.S. and to temper it down because it's like it's rubbing salt into the womb of the colonizers, and that
but we
doesn't
look,
spell good for the
we
U.S.
we
and
are
so
not
forth.
Africa. We are not going to be apologists for any colonizers and colonialism. We are the people who suffered. So why should we hesitate to rub salt in their wounds when we are the ones who suffered our foreparents for 400 years? Don't you think it's a little bit of justice that we, at least all we're doing is recalling a history that is true? So if it happens to rub salt in their wounds, so be it, because we're not going against history, we're not going and being unfactual, but everybody seems to want to water down the history, our history, but yet still they tell us about the history of the Jews and the history of the British and the history of the Americans who landed on Plymouth Rock. So what about our history?
So the architecture itself speaks volume to the content that would be inside when you go in there. Your eyes, your eyes will be a market. It's like,
Most
wow,
definitely.
this here is reflective of what, the materials on the inside, the artifacts on the inside. And so that is a big takeaway. And it was a concern for the St. Christopher Trust. And they wrote a memo, they sent out something of that sort. I am not sure that that area of the Fort Lands, former Fort Thomas Hotel, fell under their purview. But as the authorities of all things heritage and so forth, they would have sound their voices, and it is not too late, because I saw they probably did the groundwork, and that is where, okay, you have an architect who's going to come in and do the design on something pertaining to St. Kitts and Nevis. Why won't you have an architect on the ground here, a Kittish and Nevisian architect, to guide this architect into, you're bringing the Middle Eastern Islamic...
Africa. Africa. We're going to have to break soon, but we have a little bit more time. Don't you think this is too late now? I mean, you said that you saw figures, 20-something million, which means that...
31 million. I think the figure for the overall thing was 31 million.
Okay, so
I could be wrong, but anyone who knows You know?
So it seems...
And I know members of the St. Christopher Church, and they're there. They have a concern.
Well,
Up to yesterday, I think I heard a voice of one person who probably...
What I'm saying is this. If it is that it has been sold, what recourse do we have? And not only that it has been sold, but we are already seeing an architecture representing what is to be. So it means these people have already planned and are planning. So, why do we keep doing this? Why do we keep putting the cart in front of the horse? Why do we keep doing this? We never knew about this before until it was already in the works. Then we heard, maybe to pacify us, that it was going to be Caribbean history. It didn't really pacify us because we feel that we know that place already has its own history. And when we heard who were the ones, we heard Indians or so forth. And I asked myself and any rational thinking person, why would Indians be pushing our history, Caribbean history? Okay, so there's a whole lot of things and a whole lot of questions, but I think I may be wrong, but I think it's a bit too late now.
Yeah, I just wanted to just weigh in on it because I had no privy to. I heard about some form of it, and knowing the St. Christopher Church, they would not have stayed quiet and not raising their alarm, their concerns with maybe other things they're privy to that I'm not. But for the blueprint, the architecture, the minaret-like style, like Indian, Middle Eastern kind of like. It could be weighing on that area there.
Anyway, Africa, we're going to have to break right about now because we have the doc already here.
Yeah, you can always call back and we continue.
Okay. So we're going to take a bit of a break, and when we return, it should be the doctor and daily and weekly dose, sorry.
This is Adia, your reigning junior Calypso monarch for the primary school section. I think by now, we all know that screen time is a hot topic all over the world. But don't worry, I'm here to help by giving you tips on what you can do instead of being on a screen all the time. So, here's a tip for you. Too much screen time can actually make us feel sad, anxious, or grumpy. Research from the University of Michigan found that kids who spend less time on screens and more time playing outside or with friends feel happier. Choose activities that make you smile. This message was brought to you by me, Adia, in collaboration with this radio station.
Here are your Horse's Value Mart IGA specials, running October 16th through the 29th. Now, our Value Club Blue Tag specials. Blue Ribbon Ice Cream, just $32.99. Morning Star Meatless Entrees, $20.99. Planet Oat Milk, $11.99. Chobani Greek Yogurt, just $5.69. Banquet Chicken Tenders and Nuggets, $24.99. Essential Everyday Dry Roasted Peanuts, $12.99. And now, our very low weekly value deals. Essential Everyday Pastas are just $4.99. Imperial Margarine, $8.99. All Orchard Apple Juice Cocktails and 100% Apple Juices, $9.99. VO5 Shampoo and Conditioner, $5.99. Gain Dish Detergent, $8.49. Arm & Hammer Deodorant, just $8.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart. Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí en Value Mart.
Mom, the Christmas cookies are ready. We leave them right here under the tree for For Santa or for CIBC Caribbean?
Tis the season for dreams to come true. Whether it's a house, land, vehicle, or upgrading your home, CIBC Caribbean can support your dreams with the financing you need. Enjoy incredible cashback deals with mortgages and land loans. Plus, your approved loan gives you a chance to win up to US $5,000. Apply now at www.cibccaribbean.com/sweeten the season. Terms and conditions apply.
Rams the good food people, always there to serve you. Rams the good food people, locations right near you. Rams the good food people, in-store specials for you. Rams the good food people. Rams. When you need better service, Rams is always here. Better value, better prices. Rams is always here. We want your loyalty. Rams is always here. We are community. We are family. We are family. Rams for you and me. We are community. Rams for you and me.
Good morning, and we are back on Island Tea. And as promised, I told you coming up on the 8:30 hour, we have the doctor in studio with us for a weekly dose. And today we also have a special guest. So good morning and welcome to Weekly Dose. Today's topic is Let's Talk About Breast Cancer, a special program designed, as I mentioned before, to raise awareness about one of the most common cancers affecting women around the world. So in studio we have Dr. Natalie Osborne, a general surgeon who specializes in breast surgery, and Miss Sarah Owens, a breast cancer survivor who has bravely agreed to share her journey with us. So welcome to both of you to today's edition of Weekly Dose. Good morning, Dr. Osborne.
Good morning, and thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
Always a pleasure having you. And Sarah, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for inviting me to share this morning. Happy to be here.
I am not hearing you clearly.
Oh. Okay. It seems to be picking up well on my end. I'm not sure if there's anything else I can do.
Still not hearing you.
Let's. You want us to take a break?
Okay. Okay, we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back. We're not hearing Sarah.
You want me to check again? Still not hearing me?
Okay, we're hearing you now. Okay, we're hearing you now. Okay,
Great.
she just...
Sarah, are you
Sarah,
there?
can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you very well.
All right,
Are you hearing
no
me?
problem. All right, no problem. Okay, so good morning and welcome, and it's our pleasure having you this morning.
Good morning. Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
Okay. I can hear you clearly. Your beautiful voice is coming through.
Great.
All right, so Dr. Osborne, let's start with the basics. What exactly is breast cancer?
So as you know that we are still celebrating in the month of October breast cancer awareness. And this is a time where we put extra emphasis because we want to remind our audience that breast cancer occurs or is diagnosed at any time of the year. And every day around the world, women are diagnosed with breast cancer. So what exactly is breast cancer? It's like the cells in the breast, these normal cells, they start to grow out of control and they transform to become abnormal cells. And what happens? These cells tend to outpace the growth of the normal cells, and they do not die, so they multiply rapidly, and then what they can spread to distant organ and create quite a bit of problem, forming lumps, forming masses, and this is what we call breast cancer. The same way a cancer can start at a cellular level in different parts of the body, whether it's in the lung, in the liver, that is how it begins. In the breast, it begins in the ducts or the lobules of the breast.
Okay, let's talk about how common breast cancer is?
Well, breast cancer is extremely common, Hortensia. We know today that breast cancer is the #1 cancer diagnosed worldwide, okay? At least 2.3 million women were diagnosed in 2022, so it has surpassed lung cancer, which in previous years was the #1 cancer. Okay, and every year an estimated 600,000 plus women die of this disease. But the good news is that we've got millions of women worldwide living with breast cancer. So it is a disease that is beatable, that is survivable. We know that it can affect 1 in every 8 females. So think about it. We have a group of random female friends, and in their lifetime, at least one of those females can be affected by the disease. It does affect men too, because oftentimes men forget about it, but we've lost men because of breast cancer, but it's at a much lower rate. So 1 in 1,000. So if you have 1,000 men, then 1 can be affected in his lifetime, as opposed to how much more frequent it is in females, 1 in 8, okay?
Okay. What are some of the risk factors?
Yes, so people often say, if they ask about the risks of developing breast cancer, and it's important to understand that their environmental risk changes as we age and stuff, and you particularly have no fault in developing breast cancer most time, because most breast cancers are what we call sporadic. You can be the first in your family that develop breast cancer, and that occurs in 85% of the cases. But there are some risk factors that we can associate with breast cancer, such as being female. That you cannot change. Just the fact that we are women. Yeah. You, Hortensia, Miss Sarah is a female, myself, we are females. And because of that, that's the high estrogen that we have in our bodies. Age, we can't change the fact that we're all getting older. Breast cancer increases, of course, is significantly over the age of 40, and is more prevalent within the age group of 51 to like around 69. So in those 2 decades, that's where studies show that we have most of our cases of breast cancer. Things like if you've never had a pregnancy, you've never had a child, what happens in that? Because you've never had any pregnancy, you haven't had a break in those surges of estrogen. Mm-hmm. Every month when you have your cycle, those surges occur. When you have a pregnancy, there's some changes there, and your body gets a break almost. If you have things like you smoke, those are risk factors that we can control. If you drink alcohol, that's another risk factor. So we want to make sure that persons eliminate that. Persons who are more obese as well tend to have more risk of developing breast cancer. Why is that so? Because we've got inside of the fat cells, there's certain hormones, so the androgen is converted into estrogen. And we know that the cancer feeds off of the estrogen, and that is what we want to prevent. So you got to make sure that you maintain a good weight, a body mass index. You want to make sure that you exercise, because lack of activities too. And persons who have this genetic risk, we talk about BRCA1 and BRCA2, and those are well known throughout the community as some of the major risk factors, though in the true sense of it, it affects less than 10%. Around 5% or thereabout of females have the genetic mutation BRCA1 or BRCA2. But however, if they do present with that mutation, their risk of developing breast cancer increases quite significantly. All right? If you've had a family member who's had breast cancer, like your mother or your sister, those are what we call first degree. Your mother, your sister, your daughter, you are at an increased risk that you can develop breast cancer. So these are some of the things that we want to keep in mind. And there's some things that we can change in terms of how we eat, how we exercise, and our BMI or body mass index. Certain things we cannot change at all, Hortensia.
Indeed. So early detection is the key here.
Yes, extremely, because when we talk about breast cancer, we know that breast cancer has stages. And when we talk about these stages, we talk about survivability. And it's important to understand we calculate first your 5-year survival. For example, women who are diagnosed in 2025,
this year.
This year, think about 5 years from now in 2030. So you want to look at the survivability in those 5 years after diagnosis and treatment. And the earlier that one is diagnosed, because we have stage 0 to stage 4, all right, with stage 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you're diagnosed in stage 0 or stage 1, your survivability increases significantly, more than 90%, 95%. If you're diagnosed in stage 2, it starts dropping off to about 75%. What is that saying to us? So if we got 100 women diagnosed this year in a community, 5 years from now, if you have stage 3 cancer, you're diagnosed today with stage 3, 5 years from now, your probability of being alive drops off significantly. Out of those 100 women, 41 may be alive at that point. And if it is stage 4, where the cancer has spread to the liver, the lungs, the bone, or the brain, that survivability drops down to about 10% in 5 years. So out of those 100 women diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer, in 5 years' time, at least 10 of them might be alive. That's what the statistics say. So that is why it's extremely important that a patient is diagnosed in a very early stage.
All right. Well, that was a mouthful, and we have had lots of information thus far. But we would like to bring in our guest this morning, Miss Owen, Sarah.
Hi, good morning.
So can you please tell us about your journey with breast cancer?
All right, well, I'm quite new to this journey, so I am still very much on it. But I think from what I'm learning, it's a journey that I'll be on for the rest of my life anyway, as the good doctor is saying that, you must learn to manage your lifestyle and manage your emotions and all of the different physical and mental components of being diagnosed with cancer. So in April, I was diagnosed with stage 2B breast cancer. And I will be in the 7 that are surviving in 5 years, because I have been a good patient and followed all the doctor's orders so far. So that is very much what my future looks like. So I have to say that there have been many silver linings in what otherwise would be considered a quite dark cloud. And a huge silver lining for me has been the responsiveness of the doctors in St. Kitts when I first realized I had this lump, which I found during what I can loosely call a self-examination, because I was really having a shower. So it wasn't that I set out intending to do that, but I was bathing. And when I raised my arm to bathe, I felt a lump in my breast, which is not unusual. And from what I gather, it's not unusual for a lot of women who have fibrocystic breast tissue, if that's right. Doctor, you can correct me if I go wrong.
Yes, you're correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm accustomed to having little cysts. And so to feel a little lump, but if you feel, this one was really unusual. It felt different. The shape of it was different. The way it felt was not as soft. So, and it wasn't moving anywhere. So I said, oh, this is strange. And I didn't remember feeling it before. I think really it was, which is part of the self-examination process. You should, if you've been to the doctor and they've shown you what to do, you're meant to raise your arm so that you can get a better sense of what it feels like. So that was one big lesson for me, how important it is to do these examinations at home. And so I called Meridian Medical the following day for an appointment with Dr. Lawrence, who I saw, that was on a Monday night that I was having this shower. So I found it I had the appointment on the Wednesday. She too did not like how it felt and said that I should see a radiologist as soon as possible. So the Radiology and Diagnostic Center takes walk-ins. So I said, okay, well, I'll go the following day. The following morning I went in, and it was the first time that I'd been there. So I was really learning a lot about what is available in St. Kitts and Nevis when I was going through this process. So I was able to get everything I needed done there without an appointment. So it took away a little bit of that stress as well. I walked in, I waited, I had the mammogram, I had the ultrasound. Dr. Clark Byers was also, very descriptive in the way that Dr. Osborne speaks on the radio program in terms of teaching. That is how I've found a lot of the doctors to be, which is very helpful to me. So she described for me what we're looking at. She too felt it did not look like something I should keep in my body, to put it in a layman's way. That was a message I was receiving. So it was the Easter weekend. So right after that, Dr. Lawrence contacted me with the details. And she said, as she did with the radiology, she said, see a surgeon as soon as possible. So I said, well, okay, So when you say as soon as possible, how soon you mean? She said, like, if you could go now, that would be good. So I was like, oh, okay. So like Dr. Clark Baez, Dr. Osborne also accepts walk-in patients. I'd never met Dr. Osborne before. So I went to her practice, Dr. Lawrence. On each occasion, she told me everybody available on island who provided the services I needed so that I could find a way to see somebody soon. So I went to Dr. Osborne, and that was a Wednesday. She had the reports from the RDC, from the Radiology Diagnostic Center, the email from Dr. Lawrence, and I saw her the Wednesday, and we had the first surgery the Thursday. The next day, the very next morning, I went into JNF, also very well prepared there to receive me. So I had, as I said, so many silver linings, because every step, everybody was very attentive to me. Everybody was explaining to me what I needed to have done. And again, because I'd had these cysts before, I was thinking maybe it's just another cyst that's weird, but the doctors were all saying it looked unusual to them. So we removed it. And I had the results in less than a week. When I went for a checkup with Dr. Osborne, she shared the results with me that they did return cancer cells. And I think I was in a little bit of out of body moment, because I heard her say it, but I was thinking, that can't be right. I was like, no, not me. I was like, okay, waiting for the punchline, but there was no punchline. And what was wonderful was that Dr. Leon, my oncologist, is right next door to Dr. Osborne. So she actually didn't have a patient at the time. So she came in and they both kind of talked me through what my next steps would be. And it was very calming for me to have, I felt very safe in their hands. And that was a big part of what made the journey workable for me, because I had a lot of trust in the doctors, because they exhibited to me a lot of knowledge and experience. So Dr. Leon, I walked next door to her office. She was able to just give me a quick kind of debriefing on what this means. And then I agreed to send my results from the lab in St. Kitts off to Miami for further testing, so that they could tell me what stage and what was next. And then to cut a long story short, I had my chemotherapy done at JNF, at the oncology unit. The nurses there were fantastic. I did not like chemo. I don't think anybody does. It did not like me either. But I had all the information people talk about the side effects very often in the big ticket items. Your hair is going to fall out. Yeah. You're going to feel nauseous, that type. But there's a whole heap of other things. So you have to sign like 2 pages of side effects to say, it's been explained to you. And so, there were a lot of other things that I hadn't expected to come along. But to what Dr. Osborne said earlier, from what I gather, I was able to do all of this so quickly also because I didn't have the issues of being overweight or having any problems with diabetes or hypertension or, so keeping yourself in good health, doing the self-examination, it helps, because if you get a diagnosis like this, you can move into action pretty quickly without having to prepare your body, in a sense, for surgery and for treatment. Right now, I'm in Trinidad, again, thanks to the doctors in St. Kitts, because they have a relationship with the Southern Medical Clinic here, which affords Kittitian patients a highly reduced rate for radiation therapy. So that is where I am in my journey, as well as hormone replacement therapy, which I do at home. So I get the medication at the pharmacy at JNF, and I get my injections with Dr. Leon. So that's been my journey, a rainy cloud with a whole heap of silver lining. Yeah. So, yeah.
I'm so happy to hear that we have so much going on in St. Kitts that we don't seem to know about, because, sometimes we say, our medical system is not good, but I'm quite surprised that the entire...
It saved my life, so it's good to me.
It's been...
I want to interject here, because you touch on something important, because the system is constantly being beaten down, and we know sometimes the underlying reason behind some of this, but we want to focus on the positive and the care that we do offer to many patients. And Ms. Owen clearly said that in most systems she would not have moved through her health care so quickly as she did. Within weeks, she had surgery. Within weeks, she started chemotherapy. She had a diagnosis. Some persons have to wait for your pathology result up to 6 weeks in certain bigger institutions in other countries. So it does take more time, and we were able to expedite quite a lot of things here for her.
So, Dr. Osborne, Sarah mentioned self-examination. How important is that?
Well, she explained it quite well. So Sarah importantly said that she was touching her breast. She knew that she had fibrocystic breast changes, but this lump felt particularly odd or off, and that is very important. So she's quite familiar with her breast, so she was able to pick up something that is off. So we recommend self-breast examination, being familiar with your breast. So if there are any changes, you can seek attention as quickly as possible. We recommend that you do it at least once a month, 1 week after your cycle ends, in women who are still going through their menstrual cycle. And if you're menopausal, mean that you stop having a cycle, you choose a particular period of the month. So if you do it in the first week or the second week, you maintain that. And so you're aware of your breasts, you examine them, feel for any lumps, whether under the armpits, so you see if there's any discharge from your nipple. That's important as well. And both breasts, although they're not perfectly the same shape or size, if you start to see one significantly larger than the other, that should ring some alarm bells. You should get it checked out. So many persons present after they themselves would have found a lump in the breast.
All right, so let's speak about mammograms and how often should women get them?
Okay, Sarah, I want to put you a little bit on the spot before I go into detail, because I want to emphasize this, that as a screening tool which we have that actually save lives. We recommend mammography at least once per year, okay, after the age of 40, and especially in our communities where most of our race is black, we know that women can be diagnosed oftentimes early, and oftentimes the earlier you're diagnosed, your prognosis might be poorer, especially for disease like triple negative breast cancer. So that is why we emphasize. In other society groups and other communities, some persons may recommend or emphasize it more after a certain age, like the age of 50, but we've seen significantly a lot of the persons within their 20s and 30s diagnosed with breast cancer. So I want to ask Sarah if she had had a mammogram at least within the last 2 years prior to this lump being found.
I had not. I'd had a mammogram 3 years prior to the lump being found. And I'm glad you asked me that, Dr. Osborne, because another message that I wanted to share was how important it is to do the mammograms. They're uncomfortable for any women who are listening who've had them, but they're so necessary. So I had opted for either the self-examination, or when I go for a physical, the doctor may do an examination, but I had not had a mammogram in the 2 years prior, but I had one 3 years prior, and it was okay.
Okay, so I love her response in that. And it brings me to another point, because there's some centers and some persons who are part of the breast cancer community as healthcare providers who do not support much the self-breast examination or the clinical breast examination, and this is why. Because with your screening mammography, you want to see the changes as early as possible. We call those changes microcalcification. You may not have a lump as yet, but what you can see, and what the radiologists who's trained can see, that there are little spots, like little white spots, like calcified spots. And based on the characteristics of these spots, you can then say this looks or feels like something that is leaning towards something malignant or something bad or something cancerous. And that means that if you do not have a lump and you just see these abnormal microcalcification, it is important to get it tested, and thus your diagnosis can be much earlier. So when a woman chooses not to, or got so busy with life, because sometimes it happens, okay, did not get a mammogram, you do not know the changes as they're occurring. So the early that you get your mammography, the early these changes can pick up on the x-rays, because mammograms are multiple x-rays of the breast looking to see if there are any changes. And if that diagnosis is made early, your prognosis is much better. So that is why we always recommend that. And we emphasize that women get their screening mammography every year, or worst case scenario, every other year, once they pass the age of 40. All right, and especially in our community where predominantly our race is black, women tend to be diagnosed earlier, and the tumors that they're diagnosed with often tend to be more of the aggressive type and less resistant, and more resistant to some of the treatment available.
Because I see here, women aged 40 to 44 can begin annual mammograms if they choose, and then from 45 to 54.
Yeah, so that's from the American Cancer Society that you're reading, and that is why it's important, because once we did our data here, we found that quite a lot of our patients were diagnosed within the age of 30 and early 40s. So that's why this society emphasized that, but I think most of that is geared towards their population, majority which are white persons.
So
we've got to focus.
Let me ask you, Doc, here in our population, how early should we start then?
We start mammographies by the age of 40. You need to get your screening mammography so your doctor get an idea what your breast tissue look like. So as you go along, if there are any changes, you can be seen. If you have a strong family history, persons can recommend that you have it 10 years before your family member, like your mom, was diagnosed. If you have that genetic mutation, BRCA1 or 2, we recommend that you start getting your mammographies 10 years prior. So start getting your screenings because you have a higher risk of developing breast cancer.
All right. So Dr. Osborne, once breast cancer is diagnosed, what happens next?
Well, we know that. We start the treatment plan. Sarah explained it quite well. Oftentimes, it starts with some form of surgery. So you can have just a lump or segment of your breast removed. All right, depending on the stage. So your treatment is going to be based on the stage in which you're diagnosed, some of the characteristic of the lump. Oftentimes, even if the size of your breast can play a factor. And some persons can just choose to have a procedure versus another based on their lifestyle. Okay, so most commonly you can remove the lump, what we call lumpectomy. Some persons say a segment of the breast, or partial mastectomy. They're different terms, but it simply means just removing the lump and some of the normal tissue, and make sure you get that. You want to, then the other option can be removing the entire breast, which we call a mastectomy. So you remove the nipple, the areolar complex, and you remove lymph nodes under the armpit. You often want to test the lymph nodes to see if they are involved or any kind of tumors. Or infiltration of the cancer into the lymph nodes under the axilla. After that, then there are things like radiation treatment. You've got things like chemotherapy, which is systemic. You're giving IVs over a period of months. You've got what we call other systemic treatment, like targeted therapy, where you get a specific medication depending on the type of tumor that you have and how the makeup of your tumor is. Okay, you could get targeted treatment like tablets or IVs based on that. And you could get hormonal therapy, where based on your tumor, most tumors have ER positive or progesterone positive, so oftentimes we give the patient hormone therapy. So it consists of surgery, radiation, chemotherapy, hormonal therapy, or immunotherapy. So it's a combination of stuff. And the beautiful thing, as science continues to evolve, lots of treatments are coming on the market and persons are living longer with this disease.
That's good to hear. Sarah, so how has this journey been for you?
It's tested me at points, but it's also strangely improved my life in some ways as well, because it really gives you a sense of what's important. It has deepened my faith, even though during chemo I was not able to go to church, which is a big part of my lifestyle, is going to church every Sunday. But I prayed a lot and I wrote a lot in my journals. I am much more aware of what I'm eating, which is a journey I was on that journey before, but when you don't have anything pressing, you cheat a lot more. But when you have something pressing, you really take it on in a different way. So apart from the way that, my body is still adjusting to the medication and so on, I find that I feel a little more energized in a different way. So my energy is good. I get tired, but I know that that's tired because I'm still recovering from what my body has gone through. Not tired because I'm feeding it the wrong things. And if I didn't feel loved before, I certainly feel, a tremendous amount of love now. So that was really, also beautiful. So I think something that Dr. Osborne told me very early on actually is that is about the power of a positive mindset, and that in her experience, patients with a very positive mindset have a much higher chance of, surviving this experience in a healthy way. And I really felt like that throughout, because how can you feel negative about something when you have all these people praying for you, you have nurses smiling at you? When I went to the oncology unit, the nurses there welcome me like I was going to a spa. I would arrive and they would say, "Oh, Miss Suzanne," which is my first name, "how are you today? Your room is ready." And the rooms in the oncology unit, it's I had options if I wanted to sit, if I wanted to lie down. I had AC, I had cable TV, so big thanks to the cable. I had art to look at, and I had the remote for the TV myself and the AC. So, it all helped to make it. And now I'm in Trinidad. It could be a lot worse. I arrived in time for Diwali, so I had a lot of curry. It's a festival of lights.
Yes.
My father is Trinidadian, so I'm staying with my uncle and aunt. So I'm getting to spend quality time with my cousins who I don't see that often. So the journey for me, and one thing I just want to say as well is that having conversations with your doctors is so important, because what I also liked is that, I was a little resistant at some points to some of the recommended treatments, because in what I'd read about them before, I wasn't sure if the good outweighed the bad, but they allowed me the time I needed to digest the information and to make a decision, so that I didn't feel forced into doing anything. But their position on what was in my best interest was very clear, and that resonated with me, but I didn't feel forced or pressured into doing anything too quickly, or, and that helped a lot. So overall for me, I see it as more of a blessing than a curse, and I'm feeling very confident that I'll live a better and stronger life after this experience.
All right. So, Dr. Osborne, beyond surgery and radiation, what other treatments are available?
Well, we talk about chemotherapy, targeted therapy. Oftentimes these are in pills or IV. They target specifically the tumor based on the type of tumor. It targets the tumor cells. You have hormonal therapy. We've got things, many women would have heard of things. One of the most common one is tamoxifen. Women, we use that here, or the aromatase inhibitors. Those are the ones that get at the estrogen and block the estrogen receptors, because the tumors love to feed on the estrogen. So you want to block that. And so those are some of the treatment that we have. Chemotherapy, we've got hormone therapy, biological therapy, immunotherapy. So there are lots of drugs on the market, and I want to emphasize, which we never touch, because I'll ask Sarah to repeat why she's there in Trinidad, and also this something about the socioeconomic cost when it comes to breast cancer. We often know that there's financial limitation. With all the treatment she could have had here, some treatment is not available here on the island, and it is limiting to some persons because of the cost of this. So we always have to put in place in terms of why you choose a particular treatment and the body of treatment, because persons have the limitations, and you may not be able to afford the chemotherapy. Sometimes you're not able to afford the hormonal or targeted therapy. So Susan, why are you there in Trinidad?
Yes, well, as you know, Doc, I wanted to do everything I could at home. Yes. And there are a lot of reasons for that. And definitely the socioeconomic factors are a big part of that, because I could stay home with my family and so on. So there's no additional cost in terms of where I'm staying or what I'm eating or anything like that. But also the treatment itself is from the hospital end, in my understanding, heavily subsidized. But also the doctors all kind of, their focus really was on getting me better. And if I needed, I had the option of payment plans so that I could make installments instead of having to find the lump sum to pay everything at once. And it is much, much, much less expensive. I should add in about 20 more muches than doing it overseas. And when I actually, because I have a very good friend who's a doctor in the US, I sent her all of the protocols and all of everything that was recommended to me here, which she shared with her friends at universities and hospitals, oncologists up there, and they were all in agreement with the treatment plan that had been prescribed for me. So I felt very comfortable with that. And we don't offer radiation therapy yet in St. Kitts. My understanding is that is on the cards and the tables to come in the near future. But I am in Trinidad, but this particular clinic that I'm going to in Trinidad has a special relationship with oncologists in the OECS, is my understanding. So the rate at which they offer the treatment to us is actually about just less than 50% of what it costs at the other private treatment facilities, even in Trinidad. And also the private cost here is similar to the US cost. So this clinic, this relationship that our doctors have with this clinic is also an important one from an economic standpoint, because it's not, I'm not saying it's a cheap treatment, but it is a lot more affordable. That's still not the right word, but it costs less. It costs like 50% less than you'd have to find for somewhere else. Yeah.
All right. So, Dr. Osborne, how important is emotional and social support?
Well, Susan said it earlier. I think she touched on that quite importantly, because it's a multidisciplinary team, and she talked about, she went from her primary care physician, she went to the radiologist, she got to the surgeon, she went to the oncologist. So it's a multidisciplinary. And we also have our psychologists as well, who would form part of the team. It is important to have that, and it is important to have a good family structure and a good family support. So Sarah has her husband, has her kids, and everybody's on board giving her all of the support, because oftentimes we have women who go through this and they're alone in their journey for most part, in terms of intimacy, in terms of friendship, family and stuff, because persons are estranged from their family quite often. And when I hear people say, I always ask, who do you have, who's on your team? And it's important to know that, because these persons are going to come to support you when you're in the hospital. They're going to be able to prepare some of the meals. They're going to be the ones who are going to say, I'm going to do the laundry for you. Don't worry about anything. I'm going to come over and tidy up. I'm going to drop you to your to the treatment center. And you need that kind of support. So it takes some of the mundane and the day-to-day worries from you. When your children hug you and give you that support, that's important as well too. And even her church family. So when you have that circle of people who are praying for you, we're bringing medicine and faith and hope all together.
Indeed. This journey just sounds beautiful, although it is what it is.
Yeah.
Let's talk about follow-up care.
So follow-up care is, as Susan said too, it's a lifetime of follow-up. So once you're diagnosed, let's say you get all the right treatment, you've got your 5-year survival. There are things you've got to be, like hormonal treatment sometimes takes 5 to 10 years. You have to be on some of these treatment. You want to get your screening mammography. If you choose to save the breasts, in some cases, you're always going to have your screening mammography of that breast and the contralateral breast. Because if you've developed breast cancer, you can be at risk of developing and have it reoccur again. So keep up with your screening mammographies, your medical checks, keep seeing your oncologist as they may indicate every 6 months, then they spread it out to yearly, but you want to get all your screening checks the same way. And keep up a healthy lifestyle with your exercise, your diet as well. That gives additional support. And your family, once they're in your corner, you're going to do well.
You always tell us to exercise, but we really have to take that serious. So, Sarah, your story has been beautiful, inspiring. You're smiling through it all. What other message would you like to share with women listening this morning?
I would say, as you just said, try to keep a healthy lifestyle, because it really makes a difference if you get a little knocked along the way. And to do the mammograms and any other checks that you have to do that your doctors recommend past a certain age. I'm 47, so I'm definitely in that zone of doing more checks than I had to before. So do that. Listen to your doctors, ask the questions. I keep a notebook where I write all the questions that might come up between visits, all the information they give me. It's very hard to process sometimes, all the medical stuff. So, if it helps me write it down. I stayed away from the internet in terms of Dr. Google. I didn't go there to look for information because it's overwhelming and it can be misleading. So if you have any questions, any family member makes a recommendation to try this or try that, I'd say always receive it, in the loving way in which it's given, and then ask your doctor if that's the best thing for you. Because what I learned also is that every cancer is different and everybody's journey with cancer is different. So what worked for your sister might not work for you. What worked for your friend might not work for you. So ask your doctor, find a doctor you trust, which I was very blessed to find several that I trust, and keep a positive mindset. So try to find those silver linings every day. Just look for them, and that will help you a lot. That's what comes to mind.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, to my lovely doctor over here, any final advice?
Well, Sarah said it all. She's very clear on her words, but I always like to end by just reminding women, you have your screening mammographies. We need to make sure that women are on board. Oftentimes I see women and they say, Doc, I have never had one, and they're 46 or 45. We want to ensure that they do, and it's important that you do that. So that's always going to be, once we have a screening tool, we've got to use it, because that screening tool leads to better outcome and a longer survival. So those areas, like when we have persons who have cervical cancer, we shouldn't have cases like that if the woman does her pap smears and stuff regularly. So once there's a screening tool, and we have a good screening tool in the mammography, women need to get their screening mammography and stay positive about this. So once you get your health checks, you should be fine. And if something comes up along the way, it can be treated expeditiously and your outcome would be much better. So I'm so thankful, and I'm so happy to hear and see that Sarah is doing so well.
Yeah.
And she has lived up to her promise, because I said, Sarah, I need you to be a voice of this disease. And she promised me that as she go along the journey, she's going to keep talking about it, because oftentimes women are fearful and they feel like they're ashamed and they did something wrong, and they hold all this information and this insight to themselves. And it is important to share it with the community so that other patients who are going through a similar disease and the treatment can get some sort of comfort that they're not alone. So it's important to be a voice in this fight. We need everybody along the way.
I know I said final, but I didn't ask you one thing. What about reconstruction after a mastectomy?
Oh, reconstruction. If we remove the breasts, you can have reconstruction. That often can be done sometimes immediately.
Okay.
It depends on the size of the tumor, the condition in which a patient is in, and of course affordability. We are not able to do reconstruction here, but persons, if you're in a first world country, a first world center, immediately it can be using your own body tissue.
Okay.
Sometimes they remove a flap from the back, from your tummy, from your buttock, and they reconstruct it there on the breast, or it can be implants, so you can have that. Sometimes it's going to depend on the stage of your tumor and what type of treatment you're doing, because sometimes they want to make sure you do your radiation before you do your reconstruction. So these are things you're going to discuss with your doctor, and each individual case will be planned. A plan will be made for that individual. But reconstruction is available, because we know that women love to want to save their breasts. We all love our breasts, and we want to keep them as much as we can. So that is why, emphasizing again, early diagnosis, you can have a smaller or earlier tumor or earlier stage, and you can have breast sparing surgery or just having to remove the lump. The later and the larger the tumor is, you may have to have some more radical treatment, like having the entire breast taken off.
Well, Doc, it's always a pleasure having you. And Sarah, nothing but best wishes. I'll keep you in my prayers as well. And keep doing what you're doing. You're shining. You're looking like your usual self. I always saw you in pink and thought pink is your color.
Yep.
Yeah.
It must have been a sign.
Yeah, every time I see her,
already.
yeah, I'd be like, look at her. She has a pink pants that she wears, and I love that. Now you know, right?
Yes.
I'm like, that pants is, every time I see her pants, I say, this pants is so gorgeous. So you keep
I know which one you mean.
yeah, so keep being your gorgeous self. As you said,
Thank
you've
you.
listened to the doctor. Keep doing what you need to do, and I wish you nothing but the best in the treatment. And we look forward to having you back home in St. Kitts. And thank you for sharing this morning. I know you've opened the eyes of many women, and thank you as well, Dr. Osborne.
Have a great day, everyone. Okay, bye, Sarah. Stay beautiful.
And let me interject, because Sarah, it's good to see you.
Hi.
With the little smattering I knew of what you were going through, I was a bit concerned, but it's good to see you. I must commend your mental fortitude, and I must also say that the advice for individuals to be mentally strong was good. And Sarah, you are a mentally strong person.
Yes, she
Right.
is. All right. And this is where we bring it to a close. So thank you to our listeners. Take the advice of the ladies, the doctor, and the patient, and do what you must to stay safe.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust to secure your investment. You need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
You're always safe with us.
Come, build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers. We don't just sell materials, we help you build your dreams. Whether it's a new home, a renovation, or a DIY project, we're here to make it happen. That's why we say, build with us. From foundation to finish, come to our stores where we have the best in building materials, hardware, tools, paints, expert advice, and more. Whatever you need, you can count on us. So if you're ready to get started, build with us. With Hostels Building and Nevis Centers, you're not just building a structure, you're building a future. Let us help you create something amazing. Dream with us, plan with us, grow with us, build with us. Come build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers today. Build with us at Hostels.
I ain't got no hurricane safety tips now. Well, Skelett got, and together we can weather the storm. So, check this. Prepare for power outages. Charge devices before a storm strikes. Develop a plan in the event that electricity goes. Learn where and how to shut off your home's electricity. Ensure that there are no trees in the lines near you. If you are experiencing low voltage, turn off the main switch in your home. Do not touch wet appliances. Be sure to stay tuned to Skellett's Facebook page and website for updates about the outages and restoration. For emergencies, our contact numbers are 465-2013, 661-2013, and 600. I repeat, 465-2013, 661-2013, and 600. Remember, with Skellett's hurricane safety tips, together we can weather the storm.
And we're back on Island Tea, and I would say that was quite an engaging and educating segment we just have. I'm already messaging the doctor to ask her if she know of any male patients who have gone through the breast cancer as well and could come and speak to us about survival, because we know sometimes, gentlemen, I'm not trying to get you or anything, but you know sometimes you don't take care of yourself and things happen. So I just wanted to know the story from a male perspective. We have a caller. Caller, good morning. You're live on Island T. Hello. All right. Sorry about that, caller. You can call back. All right. So as we continue along, Quint, anything to add to the pool?
Well, it was good to see Sarah, because occasionally I kind of had a smattering idea of what she was supposed to go through, and I would ask my boss, and she'd give me a little bit of information, and I was a bit concerned.
Yeah.
But seeing her though, I was surprised, because knowing what she just went through, and to see her looking vibrant and hearing her voice energetic and that kind of stuff, wow, she is a strong person. They always say, don't judge a book by the cover.
Yeah. I never knew. Like, when I got the email last night, I was like, No, because growing up, I know her as Sarah. So when
Yeah.
I saw her next name, I'd be like, and then when I saw the last name, I'd be like, no. And my heart sank, but then I started praying, and as I promised her, I'm going to keep her in my prayers because she looks excellent.
Yeah.
She looks refreshed, revived. She just looks nice.
Yeah. We have
The
a
call is
caller.
there. Caller, good morning. You're live on Island T.
Good morning, Cortez. How are you doing?
I'm good, Miss Henry. What about you?
Well, you're giving God thanks.
Yeah, man.
Remember, that's the attitude is everything, eh?
Indeed.
And your faith in God is what will take you through, you know.
Yeah, man.
When you bounce upon something that you can't control, you may try.
Yep.
But unless you have faith in God, you are in a tight spot. And to have people who will pray for you, who will encourage you. Because some people, oh, God, you're gone dead. You know, some people like that. When they come, they bring death story. Now I want to address two issues. One may be a bit controversial, so I'll do that second. Now, I guess you know this thing that say, who pays the piper called the tune? You know that one?
No.
Yeah, I know that one.
Who pays the piper called the tune?
Yeah.
When our political parties go out and look for campaign financing support, and they get it, it comes at a price of the people, of the electorate. Because they know that some of them make some unreasonable demands. And sometimes they threaten you. Well, if you don't do so and so, they're going to support the opposition. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You get the point?
Yeah.
So when they give you, and they say, well, we want to have a mask, and we want to have a this and a that and a that. Even though you know, you're the recipient, no. It is different to our culture. Self-interest mean by, no. So when I heard Africa talking about this, I'm not surprised. The one in Nevis is the same thing. People are collecting from the investment in the political parties. For years we have been talking about campaign financing. I recall in 2010, I used to come down by winnfm on Inside the News on Saturdays. And I was pushing it heavily. Well, I guess no political party is interested because they want to bring in the people from overseas who can't afford to pay their own way. And it determines the balance. So self-interest, well, boy, once I get into power, well, it don't matter. Whatever they want, they could take. And the handouts go on. And so the people who are being pushed aside, they're content because when you have very little and you get something, it's a big deal. So don't be surprised. The one in Nevis is a collection of what they gave. The one with the Port Thomas is a collection. A lot of the policies and programs that the government institute, it isn't because they want to do it, you know.
But let me ask you this, Miss Henry. Don't you feel that our government's various individuals who go and try to negotiate investment, they have options? Is it that because an investor is coming that you don't have any option, that you have to just acquiesce to whatever they put forward?
You have already collected. If you have not collected the thing from the people, they can't pressure you. Don't fool yourself. A lot of this investment and this business and the multiplication of businesses of different ethnic groups is a collection. I remember I challenged Dr. Douglas about this other Chinese thing. At the time there weren't even so many. He said to me on the radio, these are not foreigners, these are citizens. You understand? So what the citizens want has nothing to do with us. And they contribute to it.
And it also seems as if though the external citizens' demands and requirements supersede ours, and we are the
Of
ones who
course,
elected them.
we broke, we poor, we broke. Would you be able to donate 1,000 to a political party?
But would they have been in that position without us from the first instance?
Many politicians?
We may not be able to. Yeah, I think Quint is asking about us voting because these people don't come and vote.
If you watch, this is a competition. If you don't give and somebody else give, you're gone. You see what happened in the last election. It was a matter of each party trying to outgive the other party. Well, so some people get 2 and 3 and 4 envelopes. No, that's what I call about. I call about 2 issues. One may affect Quint, Africa, and my good friend Journey, and others. I appreciate that we're very African conscious. Right? I appreciate it. I appreciate the history lessons. But I am a bit concerned about the objective of some of the presentations. You following me?
Yeah, go ahead.
I suspect, and I've been approached personally a couple of times. Well, if you know that, how could you be a Christian? Now, this is statements. It shows that the objective is to destroy persons who have Christian faith and belief. Because you see, just like a politician, all of us canvassing, Christians canvass, African contribute, they do us this and they do us that. And when you look in their own personal life, I don't know anybody, yeah? I know some about some people. Oh, the woman was pushed aside and pushed aside. Then when you investigate the people's life, they've had occasion where they could have uplifted their girlfriend, their children's mother, but they choose not to. But he's not pushing aside.
I'm not really following you, though. I'm trying to.
Can you follow me?
I'm trying to grasp what you're.
Right. Let me start again.
Yes.
Now they complain that the virgin birth story and who bring Jesus and why there is no female in the Godhead.
Yes.
All right. Now, if you really believe it, because you see, belief has to do with practice, and you are engaged in a relationship with women, you go as far to have 1 child, 2 child, 3 children, 4 children, sometimes by the same female or by different ones. Yet you don't think them desirous to marry them. Even if you have to talk about
well, you see, Sylvine, I'm going to interject here because it seems as if though there are some individuals, I understand what marriage means and I understand that, you know, there's this sentimental value that goes with it. I don't have a problem with whoever wants to get married. I will admit when I was younger, I used to think that I wanted to find that woman and get married. I've been involved with a few women and I kind of had that in my mind, but along the way they had other options. Why is it that you all feel that it's always the men who don't want marriage? What about the women?
I did not say the men. You know, I'm talking about all the men who
But let me continue now because I let you speak so that I could grasp what you were trying to say. So, like I was saying, when I was involved with the mothers of my children, and I thought there was a particular one, the second mother of my children, and for all I was thinking she would be the one, but then she had other options. It kind of hit me hard when she decided she would move on, but I accepted it. But let me say this. I grew up in a family where my mother and my stepfather were married. I've seen a lot of marriages that are and were disasters. So for you to feel that people should just run into marriage. I've seen individuals who have never been married and lived their whole lives together and never had a problem. I've known
Why so? There's an answer to that, you know.
I've known individuals who left school, had a boyfriend girlfriend thing in school, left school, never got married, lived their whole life together, got children, died together, and they were living in.
My parents did that, but the truth is this: you're missing the point, you know. If you notice something he's saying, kids, a lot of our men get children by our black women or say local. Don't marry to them, and somebody come from Guyana, Trinidad, Santo Domingo. They don't even know the proper name. They marry to them.
So
what I am saying is this. I just tell my children, some of them don't listen. Before you go and get a child for a man, because sometimes, you're having casual sex.
Yes.
You get pregnant, because most of our pregnancies are unplanned, no doubt about it.
Yes.
I say, when you plan to have sex with a female or a male, you must consider, would I want to marry this person? Because, before. Oh, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I kind of disagree with you, even though I follow. Listen, I follow what you're saying, but I think the foremost thing is I agree with you. When you're involved with someone sexually, I don't think the first thing you should be thinking is, will I marry that person? The first thing I think you should be thinking is, how will I make this relationship last? Well, let me tell you something about me, because I like to use me as an example.
You don't have to expose your life.
No, well, I like to use
making statements.
I like to use me as an example. Before I got my first child, before I got the first woman impregnated, long before that, I sat with myself at times when I was alone in my bed or, playing my music, and I would look up at the roof and I would ask myself, do you want a child? What kind of child do you want? Would it be a boy or girl? If you got a girl, would you love her as much as you got the boy? Would you want to make sure that the relationship lasts? So I agree with you. These are things you should think before, but unfortunately, majority of us don't do that, and that is the problem. I also don't have a problem. I disagree with your thing that I'm trying to dissuade people from Christianity. Cortense is a Christian. I have never, ever tried in any way to dissuade her from what she believes. That is her belief.
Others have done it. They have done it to me personally.
Huh?
Call me and Mrs. Henry, I don't understand how an intelligent woman like you.
Who said that? Who said that?
I don't have to say that.
Huh?
I do not have to say who.
I said that to you?
No.
Not you.
No.
Okay.
She
So
said persons have tried to
You're not the only one who make this presentation. A lot of people.
Okay. But I disagree with people who do that.
Others who don't even come on the radio.
But I disagree with people who do that. My best friend, one I grew up with in school, we had fights, and we're still best friends today. He is a Christian. You understand?
That's good.
I don't try to dissuade. But here's what I told him. I said to him one day, I said, look, I know you're a Christian, right? And you know how I think. I respect your lifestyle. Don't be telling me about become a Christian, because it's not going to happen. But you're going to live your life.
I understand.
I told him that, and we still get along. You understand?
That's how I approach it. I say, look, we could get along and talk, because I learn a lot from the African thing you ought to do, right?
Yes.
I even go and look them up. But the idea that, how could you be a Christian after you hear this? Excuse me?
People have their right to live their lives.
Next issue.
Yes.
Dr. Jew was misinformed about the land business.
Which land business?
Which land? The one?
They're trying to get people land.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
He did some the other day, and he was crediting Mr. Bradshaw.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes.
All right. Start from there. He nationalized the land to save the sugar industry. He himself said on the national radio, people expected that after they got the land, he was shared out. He informed that he got the land. Nobody must expect to get the land because they get it to save the sugar industry. Limo had the same concept. And this thing about taking people land, all base people who might have bought land there, and they, whatever word you want to use, they took the land, plow it up and plant cane on it. Now, in the 1980s, I don't know if it was a campaign stunt, It happened, I think, in 94, because I was working at the planning unit at that time. I started 85, and I worked until 2003, 2004. And Hugh Heiliger, who was then the Minister of Agriculture, I suppose it was the party's thing, they came up with this thing about the freehold land. People who were living on estate land and village lands were to get the land free. This is in the early 90s, because election in 95.
Ms. Sylvine, I want you to make it as brief as possible.
Yeah, I can make it as brief as ever.
Yes.
So he organized a survey. Some of our workers at the planning unit, statistics, and some from the physical planning, went into the field, because you know those terms, right?
Yes.
To collect. They went from house to house. They were assigned in different parts of the country, wherever estate lands were, like St. Paul's, Village, and different places. To get from the people the names of those who lived on the estate land, to find out from the person how long they were living there, because, you know, you have to be there. It wasn't even called squatting, you're living on it. And they did it, and they pushed it so they had to work evening and night. They wanted this survey to finish by the end of December, which they did. And then this discrepancy began about the money. Because he had promised to pay them, and when they finished now, he making more demands. They understood the job was to do the survey and collect and bring the data. He wanted it organized and analyzed. And so trouble began. They started working on the bill, the land freehold bill. Because after you have the survey, the next thing is to take the bill to the House to pass it. The government changed, and so they were not able to carry the bill, but the bill was already prepared. The survey was done. Labour came in, and Dr. Douglas completed it. C.J. Clyburn was the Minister of Agriculture. He took the bill to the House. So after that, they began to share out. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes, but
he's giving all credit to the Labour Party.
Well, when I played a clip this morning, and one of the things that was going through my mind when I played the clip, before I played the clip, as I sort of analyzed it, was I wonder why is it that these individuals always have to put so much emphasis on the party.
That's the truth.
Right?
And then they misinform people.
But having said that, here's my thing. Put all that what you've said aside. My thing is this: whether or not Bratcher acquired the land for cane or to distribute it to the people, we are presently in the future. I would think that our present leaders are mindful of what the future holds and determines. The reason I played...
Let's go to the Nevis matter.
No,
They were really concerned, right? Give me a chance. They were really concerned about giving our people land. Mr. Brandt has complained that it is difficult to get land in Nevis where they could purchase and put housing for the people. Because, the young people want house, right?
But from what I
That was a
got,
good location.
the lands that are in Nevis are private lands. Those are not government lands.
But the government has acquired private lands to build some of the houses by the Nevis housing development. You don't know that?
Okay.
Because
No, I can't
most
say
of the
no.
land is
I'm just
private.
going to say okay.
Miss
I am
Henry,
saying
Miss,
that they
Miss,
could have bought some of the land down there.
Miss Henry,
And-
Miss
Hello?
Henry, I want you to wrap up because I want to take a commercial break, but I also
All right,
want to.
do so. You could do so now.
Okay, but I want you to finish your point.
No, all I am saying is this. You are willing to let people buy the land that you could have bought, eh? Because when they sell you land and house, the land price is in. And Dr. Jew, as a member of CARICOM, did not sign to have the free movement. So black people from the Caribbean countries are not allowed to come. They would have to maintain the balance, but we will jump up and give it to people of another ethnic group.
Okay.
You see what it is?
I get that point. Yes.
Yeah, Barbados has already started taking people. Dr. Joe went and he did not sign it. But they here are signing and promoting the migration of people from our other group into our country.
Yes. And I agree with what you're saying in that.
All right, then let me hang up.
Okay.
thank you.
So thanks for your input. What I wanted to say is this. One of the main reasons I played that clip is it's kind of like what Sylvine said in the end. If you're aware of the importance of land ownership for your people, why is it, as she's asking the question, that you're facilitating the sale of land to external individuals who aren't even of a culture, ethnic persuasion, and that kind of stuff? There's a big contradiction there, right? So that is my concern, and that is why I played that clip, because I want the Honorable Prime Minister to listen to his own words and to be aware of what those words mean to us, the citizens, when we hear them coming from his lips, and to be in earnest to live up to what he knows those words mean to us as the indigenous people. Okay, I'm going to take a bit of a commercial break, and I'm going to be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Here are your Horsford's Value Mart IGA specials, running October 16th through the 29th. Now, our Value Club Blue Tag specials. Blue Ribbon Ice Cream, just $32.99. Morning Star Meatless Entrees, $20.99. Planet Oat Milk, $11.99. Chobani Greek Yogurt, just $5.69. Banquet Chicken Tenders and Nuggets, $24.99. Essential Everyday Dry Roasted Peanuts, $12.99. And now, our very low weekly value deals. Essential Everyday Pastas are just $4.99. Imperial Margarine, $8.99. All Orchard Apple Juice Cocktails and 100% Apple Juices, $9.99. VO5 Shampoo and Conditioner, $5.99. Gain Dish Detergent, $8.49. Arm & Hammer Deodorant, just $8.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart. Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí en Value Mart.
Mom, the Christmas cookies are ready. Leave them right here under the tree for...
For Santa or for CIBC Caribbean?
'Tis the season for dreams to come true. Whether it's a house, land, vehicle, or upgrading your home, CIBC Caribbean can support your dreams with the financing you need. Enjoy incredible cashback deals with mortgages and land loans. Plus, your approved loan gives you a chance to win up to US $5,000. Apply now at www.cibccaribbean.com/sweeten the season. Terms and conditions apply.
Rams the good food people, always there to serve you. Rams the good food people, locations right near you. Rams the good food people, in-store specials for you. Rams the
And we're back on Island T, and I have something here to read. And it says, last night, Zanzibar, a popular establishment on the vibrant strip in Frigate Bay, was engulfed in flames, leaving locals and supporters in shock. The fire rapidly spread through the venue, which is known for its innovative cocktails, East Indian cuisine, and lively atmosphere, drawing both residents and visitors alike. As emergency services respond to the scene, the community rallied, offering support and expressing their dismay over the devastating incident. Investigations are currently underway to determine the cause of the fire, with officials working diligently to assess the situation. The fire marks a significant loss for the Frigate Bay area, which relies heavily on establishments like the Zanzi's Beach Bar to enhance its cultural and social landscape. Patrons are left speechless as memories of joyous gatherings and events at the bar come rushing back. Local leaders and business owners are emphasizing the need for support during this challenging time, hoping for a swift recovery for the Zanzibar and a revival of the cherished space that many call a second home. I'm looking forward to the revival of the bar next door too. That was one of my kitchens.
Have a caller.
Caller, go ahead. You're live on Island T. Good morning.
Good morning, Catencio. And good morning, Quinn.
Good morning, Jam Down. How are you?
And we want to say good morning to Angio down in Trinidad, Port of Spain, undergoing her cancer medication. This morning, Quinn, we have to shine the mirror and DJ Marisha march on the 30th for land, because these land things cannot dead. We're not going to allow these land things to dead. We want to ask all the political leaders them to attend this march, because these joking little boys, they're going to come here and give away where man fight hard for. Catencio, I Jam Down is asking you to play a tape at the Honorable Prime Minister where he said he won't go with people land because they were trying to offer us to give away land. Play back that tape and let the country hear what you were saying. He keep lamenting, require the land. Simmons pay, he ain't mentioning Simmons' name, but he trying to be smart. But they better stop play politics, because I ain't gonna work out for them, These young, non-progressive elements we got down in Church Street, they better stop play the politics. Them days gone. This is life now. People, children, future. And if they know that they done gone, if they think they got some kind of things overthink it's people, call the election. Asking these Nevis people to please support Janet Harris, Janet Daniel, Miss Daniel. Please support her. Go out and hear what they got to say. Go to the rally. Go to the town hall meeting and hear what they got to say. Because our politicians, these young boys, they have lost their way. According to Quinn this morning, they don't even understand nothing about slavery and what we are going through. Quinn is a waste of time to be asking Jew them kind of questions. Due process he used to say he's a Muslim. In the early years, I could remember, he was a part of we team on 4th Street selling journals for Louis Farrakhan. I can't understand how this vagabond get like that. Have a good morning. Catensia, we love you. And keep strong. You not jam down there in your corner.
Thank you, Jam Down. So, Quint is the one that played the video. The clip this morning, sorry, not the video, thinking video. So he will have to be the one to play it back. But as I said, I saw a commenter on our page this morning that mentioned that the lands in St. Kitts are the government's and the ones in Nevis are private. So we have a caller?
Yeah, we do have a
caller. Go ahead. You're live on Island T.
Good day to everybody, and greetings once more in Jesus Christ's name, the only Savior of sinners, from the sins and from hell, through faith only. and the second person of the eternal Trinity. Now, I'm going to say some things as quickly as possible, as my credit is not too much. First of all, let me say, as mentioned this morning with marriage, as there was some talk just a while ago concerning marriage. But I can say it, and we never before, I'm going to say it again. Marriage in the Bible is about the man making a marital covenant with the woman and she accepting it. There is no such thing in the Bible that you had to go to the government, you had to go to the magistrate, you had to go to some preacher, priest, or whoever in order to get married. In the Bible, once the man make a marital covenant, as Malachi said, the wife of your covenant, I think is in Malachi 3, when he was talking to the husband telling about the wife of their covenant, that is marriage in the Bible. It ain't just having sex either that make a marriage, because Jesus Christ told the Samaritan woman, you had some husband, and the man you now live with is not your husband. Saying that they were having sex, but he was not her husband because they didn't make a marital covenant. And we have the model for it in Genesis with Adam and Eve, when Adam made his marital covenant with Eve, and they became husband and wife. So that is marriage in the Bible, and not that you have to go to any pastor, priest, judge, or anything like that in order to get married, in the sight of God, where the Bible is concerned. Now, secondly, and let me say this quickly as well, I remember when I worked in Inland Revenue, we had a gentleman from Montserrat, and he said, he was giving us a story, and he said he ran for politics in Montserrat, and he did very good, but he lost. He did very good, but he lost. And he said he was glad that he lost. And the reason why he was glad he lost, because his donors were making so much demands of him that he didn't want to win because of the amount of demands that were making of him. And just recently I was talking to a guy from Trinidad, and he said the corruption in Trinidad in politics is terrible, terrible. And I said, but you all have a lot that make politicians reveal the assets. He said, yeah, but it don't mean it because they got ways of getting around it. They put this in that name, and they put this in that name, and they put that in that name with the understanding that it really belongs to the politician, but they put in different people and say, in other words, I interpret it, and I say, you know what? When politicians make laws, they make loopholes in the laws. Because
that's what laws are all about.
They want to get you with the corruption.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
And your Quinta to run.
Yeah. Okay.
Credit law. Thank you.
Yeah, I also agree that marriage, that is why I was saying to Hortensia, if one wants to go to the preacher and go through that stuff and, go through the normal, traditional trend, accepted social trend, it's up to them. But to me, marriage is more two individuals coming together and making a commitment to see it through, right?
Without the legal signing of anything, because
I don't feel
Old Testament. So
I don't
the New
feel
Testament,
I don't
Jesus
feel you need that legal thing. The legal thing is a kind of entrapment, where down the line it is used against from the colonialist perspective. That legal thing was used mainly against the men. And then when it was convenient, recently we find that it's being used a lot against the women.
Because technically, in law, if me and you, Quint, live together...
Or why do we have to get a law?
Wait. Live together I never said we're married. Live together for 5 years. We're not married. We built house and everything. We live in that. If me and you fall out within that 5 years without being married, automatically, according to law, the house is mine. Because I'm now your reputed common law wife.
Yeah.
So there are still things that apply without being married that still apply in marriage. Because in marriage, we're going to fight to see who get half or who ain't get half. But automatically, I own your house and I was never married to you.
But that is why I said, when it's convenient, the law works for the man, and next thing down the line, when it's convenient, it works for the women. These people, these legal fraternity, they are not supposed to lose. They're going to win anywhere you turn it. Why can't two individuals, but you see, such is life. Why can't you and I get together, get married, and whatever we own, and I know, let's say you down the line, let's say down the line you decide you want to go your way. It usually don't happen. Let me say that. It usually does. But for me, if I know that you contributed X, Y, and Z, I don't have a problem.
Giving you back X, Y, and
Yes.
Z.
Mind you, let me be honest. Like I said before, in my relationship, it's going to hurt. If I cared about you and you decide, Quint, I want to move on, it's going to hurt me. But I'm a realist. You understand?
Got you.
And if you said to me, Quint, this can't work anymore, I have to move on. Being a realist, I have to respect what you feel, right? It's going to hurt me, but I must respect what you feel. But I also must be mature enough to understand when you were with me, you committed something. We work towards something. So this is what usually happens. Somebody gets full of animosity and decide, okay, she wants to move on, and I felt it should have happened, and she ain't gonna get none. No, my thing is, which usually don't happen. My thing is, Cartensia, look, I'm a straight up person. I'm gonna say, Cartensia, look, this hurts me, that you're moving on, but it's your life, and I wish you all the best. But this is how we're gonna share things. What do you feel about this? And we come to a agreement. You understand?
Yeah, I hope we're on the same page, because some people, as you say, greedy no one.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's because we allow greed. But if we were human beings who would deal with each other on an equal level, we wouldn't have all these problems. Unfortunately, that isn't the case. Hello, caller.
Yeah, Quint?
Yes.
Yes, let me say quickly again. In both the Old and New Testament, marriage was always the same. There was no change. It was always by the
So what
covenant of
happened
marriage.
when Jesus went to the wedding? That was a covenant again? That wasn't a whole marriage there?
You could
wedding?
have witnesses.
Because the marriage is what we
Right,
do
right.
afterwards.
Right, you could have witnesses, the people and what they as witnesses, but the man made the covenant with the woman. But you have witnesses.
So the woman don't make the covenant with the man too? So why do we...
Because the man is the head.
Yeah,
So
but
it's the
don't
man-
we have to repeat after the man said, I do? Don't we have to do that part
you know, in the Bible, you just have to accept the marriage covenant of the man, because he's the covenant head of the woman and of the family.
So then why do the
you
pastor
accept-
ask us to...
No, this is a man-made thing. Pastor, so this is a new man-made thing to make money. It's a money thing. So that's why they say, oh, you got to go to a pastor, you got to go to a judge. It's a money-making scheme. But in the Bible, the man make the marital covenant with the woman, and you could have eyewitnesses as the marriage in Cana was. But it was not no past. Yeah, we not but no past at the end. Them are judges there to make the marriage.
Let me make sure that Cartensia understands you well. You're saying that the man makes the covenant, but the woman, it is up to her whether she accepts it or
Yes.
rejects it, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I got that.
Okay.
But I don't understand what he's saying about because what I got from the wedding in the Bible is that they had a whole wedding ceremony.
Yeah,
and they just-
witnesses.
But weren't they married though, according to the
Yeah, they were mad because the man made the covenant with the woman, and the woman accepted the covenant, and there were witnesses there. The people
the
who
fact
were
that
invited
Jesus
to
was
the
at
wedding
that
were
wedding,
witnesses.
you didn't think a priest was at that wedding to marry them too? No?
That was never done in the Bible.
But
that was never done in the Bible.
Anyway, Greg, we're gonna head up into the same thing where you're saying and you're saying and she just.
Because I'm just wondering if it wasn't like the whole thing like
It's
you
left.
and I did.
This is why the Bible has so many gray areas, because it's left to individuals' interpretation. Some individual might say the fact that it used marriage means that it was an official thing where they went and they used someone to get married, and then like Greg might say, well, it wasn't that they went through the procedures of the man-made procedures. It was that he made the covenant and she accepted it, and all who were there were just witnesses. So it's all up to people's interpretation. And this is why there's so much mix up with these marriages.
I prefer to be married by the law of the land and the pastors of the church, so it makes it easier to me. Because saying that I accept
it
me,
makes
we're
it
not
easier to you.
married.
It makes it easier to you psychologically because it is the norm. So you see, we as people don't understand when something becomes traditional, where a number of people are accustomed to doing it, it makes one more comfortable to do it because they know they have a following, they have an association, they have people who they can identify with. For instance, let me see if I can explain it this way. There was a time when people used to say that women had to wear their dresses wear down to their ankles, okay? And that was the norm. Then women started to push the letter and hike it up a bit more. People started to make noise. Blah, 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 blah. It was uncomfortable for majority of the women to put their skirt way up because it was the norm to keep it down.
Yes,
You
because of
understand?
the precedents that it sets.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
But when over time now you see a woman and she has her skirt almost up under her buttocks,
Yep.
where you can see the base of her underwear,
Yep.
right? And it isn't a problem. You know why? Because society again has accepted it to that point
It
where
is a
they say
problem.
it is the liberated woman. So women don't have a problem
It is a
with
problem because, let me tell you, because we are a judgmental people, we're going to look at that woman in her short dress and say, oh my God, she's not dressed like a lady. What's that? She dress can't get longer. Or we like to make the funny comment, you forgot the rest of your dress at home. So we still look
Hortensia,
down
I am
on
saying
certain
that is
things.
not the norm anymore.
What, the long dress?
It is not the norm anymore that a woman has to wear a long dress.
It is not the norm, but still some people do.
Some people will.
Because in some religions,
but the
they
reason
still have
why,
to cover all the way down.
yes, but the reason why it is accepted in society on a mass level now is because the numbers who accept it are big.
Bigger than
yes, so you don't
the
have a problem.
conservatives.
Yes, so what I'm saying is because of what people accept socially, people are more comfortable with it. For instance, let's use when there was a time when the church used to say, don't wear any pants in the church.
Yeah.
But then that time,
It's
if you
gone.
wore a pants, the preacher would put you in the back bench or put you out.
backbench, yeah.
But now you see it's a common
It's
thing because
acceptable.
society has accepted it. You understand? And once society accepts it, people feel more comfortable adopting it because they know they're not going to be persecuted. That is what I'm saying.
But society still don't accept the fact that people don't get the paper, the marriage paper.
When it is convenient for them. Yeah. Because let me show you an example. Women will say, I can guarantee you the majority of women will say, Hortensia has a right to wear her skirt how she wants. If she wants it right up under her buttocks, it's a modern day. She's a modern woman. She's a liberated woman. But let's say something happens and they hear that Hortensia get raped. Them very same people going to say, oh, what she expect? You understand what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
So, but society has accepted it. But when it is convenient for them,
still going to judge
Yeah,
and say she's not just like a lady, so she encouraged that.
so let's take this final call. Hello.
Caller, good morning. You're live on Island
The
T.
final call is mine. Now, the truth about the formal or official marriage has to do with the distribution of assets. You think break up?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because if the man say he own all and you live with him, because you know in the former days the men might have had everything, but many women inherited possession, land, and whatever.
I'm glad you bring that point, because that strengthens in that time when men were from the colonial, men had everything, men you had to marry into a man to get what the system worked for the man. But no,
that's what I'm saying.
Many
women destitute.
Yeah, and the men didn't have a problem with it. But now,
why should they?
But now it's working for the women, and men are grumbling and saying, men are saying,
if you know the law,
both parties,
men
you
have
can't get everything.
rights to
But
women assets.
Sylvine, only recently down in our parts, we're seeing.
No.
Sylvine, I'm telling you because I know, I've lived it. Only recently down in our part, the law is, it seems as if some of the legal fraternity are trying to work with us men. Before, no. Let me show you an example. When my second kids, right? I thought that perhaps because the first kid's mother gave me all kind of hell to see my children, blah blah blah. I was told, okay, make sure your children, then make sure your children now. Which in the first one I told her to make sure they had my title. You know, she willfully didn't. Anyway, the second one, they got my title. Here, naive me now. Naive me thinking that, okay, they have my title, so if I want them to stay with me such and such a time, I can go. Who said that? Next thing she decide, I can't see this, I can't go to the school, she trying to do that. And me now...
She gained custody.
Yes, and me now trying to go and try to say, well, use the system. You know what the system told me? Yeah, they have your title, but she's the mother, so, you know, so...
But you could have applied for custody, you know that?
I tried, but it never worked because the system kept pushing it on me that she was the mother. But here's what happened now, is my children made the difference, you know. Because when my children got old enough, they went to the system and said, we want to be with our father.
Right.
And the system said in front of me, my children and the mother said, well, they're old enough to decide who they want to be with now, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
But you see, if you don't have any official document, you have nothing. You have nothing because sometimes there's so much acrimony after a breakup.
Yeah. So that one just straightens everything out quick, fast, and in a hurry.
It depends.
It doesn't straighten up, but at least it gives everybody a chance.
No, it depends.
And again, listen to me. The law says if you divorce, your lifestyle must not be worse than what it was before. So therefore, it call upon whoever got the most got to pay all the money.
Yeah. And now we're seeing that play in our part of the world, but there was a time when that didn't.
It play out here too, only that you may not hear.
Okay.
And the law says if you did not even work and build a house, but you gave emotional support, you're entitled to your share.
Yeah, that is what Cartensia was saying a while ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right then.
Okay then.
So there are reasons for the official, eh?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but I don't have to adhere to the official.
The
official has not worked for me. It has not worked for me anyway, you know. So anyway, that's how we're going to bring an end to Island Tea for today. Any parting words, Hortensia?
We had an enjoyable program today from Weekly Dose to now. It's been enjoyable. I like your perspective. I like how you think, as you said. And no one can sway my mind. No one can sway my mind. When I'm stuck to something, I'm stuck to something. So to each his own.
Yeah.
And let's all live in harmony.
It's your right to live your life as you please.
Yeah.
Okay. Take care.
All right.
You found the sound.